Hello viewers, moi lomika chumi apni kan sob ke Nagaland TV de swagat kuri ase. Aji ami ala beach de duta ekdam khas manu ahigina ase. Aro itu du kun ase kule do yede ahigina thaka do Au Yimson Baptist Church laga associate pastor youth Lim Wapang Long Chartai ahigina ase. Ami alo de aro itu logot student ekta bi ami alo de ahigina ase. Aro tai laga nam do Deking PT Sanctum tai Livingston Foundation International College laga BA second semester psychology student ase. Tai aji tai jun ami ala beach ta higina ase. To aji laga itu show shuru na kura gode apni jun ke Nagaland TV de swagat kuri ase. To ita mon shuru kuri loba ami ala discussion do itu do open platform ekta ase. Apni jun la views apni jun la bhavna itu hala opor de ini ekta small discussion kuri bole. To shuru kuri bole I would first like to ask you clean election. To Kwan nishina apni bhi ekta youth pastor ase, church leader ekta ase. To Nagaland de jua election de bhi 2018 de bhi NBSC la bhitor bra clean election campaign idoan movement kan choli thakise. So apni la hisab de idu clean election campaign ko do Nagaland de hosa bhi implement koro parise na para nai kini ga ase.
Idu la question do ami sob hoti thakebo nijor gibi aro Sadi bai to hands up ki lagabo. Ami yes 100% in I kuna parbo. But one thing is for sure that is making progress. Clean election campaign in the minds of the youth, I'm generalizing, or in the people, manula munde clean election ki ase kwado comparatively past 5 years lo to ajikali bishi wala porta hoise. Our people are aware of what clean elections are. For example, back 5 years ago, I heard the term clean election. But now, 5 years later, as a youth pastor, I can clearly understand what clean election is. Now I understand. And me, when I'm ready to exercise my vote, now I'm in a vote to puchigina, I should stand firm on clean election. And when I'm ready and to give vote, there's a problem. There's a lack of political leaders with efficient manifestos or political ideals or principles. So we are in a stage where we are ready to stand firm. Leaders come, candidates come, kiniga. Yeah? The process of election to kiniga, iniga la dilemma ekta jahala itu ami experience kuya. Ami experience kuya iri channel. But clean election is making a very big progress as of now.
To apni ide kobole mon jai thaka do apni an clean election manubi clean election naga itu the whole idea of clean election do puche aro kurubole bi like you're ready to exercise your vote in a good way hulibi apni kwado a lack of good leaders. To you mean to say candidates khan bra leaders khan bra higina iniga puisa dia karne na tahan ba vote ahi vote kinibole aha karne itu clean election campaign do itu successful hobo na pare koina apni na koi kupole monja ase.
I do not want to blame, actually I do not want to blame either the voter or the leader, but something that we would like to keep in mind is the idea or traditions that we have been following. Traditions from generation to generation follow what I say. Election it's all about money, it's all about prestige, it's all about power. And that has been fed into the young minds. We grew up together. We grew up with that mentality. And I believe that there are young people who are growing up just with that mentality.
To viewers, amian ita hunilwa nishna pastor bra kwado clean election campaign ido. Tahan bishi manu bra koshish kuri thake. Holibi kwa nishna ido do puila bra ha like the tradition hui jase. Election kole do puisa. Or puisa kole do election. Ido tradition chuligina aha nimite. Bishi manu tate giri jai na itu campaign clean election kuro kwa da itu safal no hoi ko gina tala bhabna janai dise. To ita amian student ire mohan lode bhuina thaka Deking PT Sanctum tailo de khota koribo. To firstly shuru nakora gode I would first like to know how is it like to be a student in Nagaland apnila experience kine ase as a student apnila like student life la perspective bra.
Nagaland ekta student hole do it's not an easy task. The right word to define being a student in Nagaland is being pathetic. Because considering Mala Nagaland, Naga Jagade, considerably, there is not even a single ekta bhal college pinai. Research centered colleges, medical colleges, there is nothing. And that's one of the most crucial thing we need. And second thing is scholarships. That's also a very crucial issue. Unless some student communities, they pressurize the government and then they remind them. Unless that happens, there is no response from the government side. And that's the biggest failure of the government.
Okay, to apni ke bhi itu same question pastor ke huda nishna clean election la itu la porde your clean apni karne clean election ko do apni la hisab te ki ase nulibi as a student do you think itu clean election campaign ko do Nagaland de do you think this will ever be successful itu campaign do
Coming to the first question, there is my definition of clean election is freedom. Itu se. Or second question do, hoy alag state can be, of course, they've achieved can be clean election kuna jaise. So why can't us? Man be nagas is like God has given us everything, which the other tribes, other people they have. So even us, we can achieve that. Just the things that we need to change our mindset.
So coming back to you, Pastor. Amian sob rajani thaka nishina aro mohan ke hulibi bacha rembra koi ki girja aro politics to duta alag there are two different entities tai junge milawa na lage ina kushe hulibi itaro maybe in my personal experience as I grow up and as I see girja khan not naming any particular church but as in general sob manu bi ina korebi kwan hoy hulibi kunba girja khan do kunba leaders khan jitia fundraise kobo donation inika korbole ase etu ase ina ushe kole to tahan do minister MLA khan no de donation karne jai na so ekta side te do clean election kwas na aro jai na aro minister MLA khan no de puisa manga modot manga itu apni la you being a youth pastor apni ekta church leader ase so itu la opor de apni la opinion ki ase ki kobo mon jai ase
It is our prayer, that one day we will have honest leaders, honest ministers or members of the MLAs. But as of now, hambi church workers kan hulibi, kun hulibi chani na do itu puisa ba do osa laga rasta ro pa no hai na itu chani na do hambi as a church China fundraising will be donations will be financial assistance ito man chani jana na mangeli phalaze for example recently there was a rally mok chongde aro a pastor a reverend was bold enough to say that ichamado amikhan churches au iradi thaka at least au iradi thaka khan hulibi election di ala puisa nuhile the corrupt means la puisa han do itu hangi to tight will be offerings will be kila cheese will be kila type will be nalobode ami hando try gro ibi ni gana he niga notion ekta idea concept ekta challenge ekta diala don tagishe and we accepted it with prayer which is very challenging maybe for some not for most but for some maybe but that is what we decided.
Okay, so according to you, itu la same question there. So apni la hisab te apni mane church to should not seek donation na ministers MLAs khan lao deba donation lobo na lage apni itu ko mon jase.
As per my knowledge, I've not come across any churches going to a MLA's house to ask for financial assistance for their church. Maybe if there is, I think we are to open our eyes and to check whether it is from ethical means or not. Jani na that minister is corrupt, or even not only that minister, or any wealthy people in the society or within the church, corrupt ase jani na amian China mangina cholai shilido itu hambi. I think we are also contributing. I think that is not the right thing. Yeah, that is unethical, I'd say.
Yeah.
for a church to take part, knowing the fact that it is not ethical, it is not clean money.
Viewers, ami anita huni lushe pastor bo kwase ki iniga girja khan bra nolibi leaders khan bra jaigina corrupted leaders nolibi ministers MLAs kun thik rasta ba nohegina alak bia rasta bra puisa ana itohan loabi donation modot fundraise ki hobi itohan loabi itu do thik nai indirectly contribute kuri ase na itu do indirectly contribute kura nishinai hoise koina dala bhabana janai dise to ita again I'll come back to you Nagaland de kwa nishina Nagaland do pura India re pura desh de in Nagaland has the highest unemployment rate aro Niti Aayog te bi worst performing state ase koina report olaise aro January 2022 ekta data la hisab te Nagaland de 92,302 unemployed youths register korise aro register nokra bi bishi thakibo to kwa nishina apni bi ekta student ase you have a vision you have aspirations to fulfill so in this case say unemployment iman ase educated unemployed manu bishi ase Nagaland de na so apni la bhabna ki ase why ki karne iniga iman education puri gina pura pichite bi job na thake na ni ghore buhi jana why is that so ki karne ki karan ase do
unemployment itu to student kan life all ase because one we mostly depend government can depend on boy thake graduate hoise government service is there no other service than other than government like of course we can go for entrepreneurship we can go for business thing or we can also go for some other new opportunities we can find for one and it is also partly the government's fault to be frank enough because yes we know backdoor appointment and I mean the choosing of wrong candidates through nepotism.
Now, since we're talking about this, since you mentioned that the government is also partly responsible, and it is indeed because opportunity komti as na alak manula state khande do manuhan hoy mohan la youths khan bi government job kona rukhi thake holebi alak state khande do tahan do kile government job ke man to kiba nokore because they have ample amount of opportunities na private sector set up ase itu ase professional institutions khan man set up kuna ase so tahan do tade jaina pure hole mohan do for people like us Naga youth students khan do ekta degree professional degree ekta lo gole bi we have to go out of the state na to itula kiba pi ase to I just want to know your opinion on the present ruling government Nagaland la governance ki ase kiniga ase idu apni la take as a student apni kiniga view kore na idu ek bar koi dibe
mula personal opinion itu man la government la upore ase to tan la upore do I personally believe tan bi itu aro bhal kuro pare because man la condition icha to is too low it's too pathetic man sob cheez te piche de polai ase or being a student itu do no like man bi we need new employment opportunities we need new development we need new facilities in our state
now I'll come back to Pastor Longchar apni la hisab te apni la opinion de church leaders khando election de hissa lobole lage na lage hissa lobole I don't by that I don't mean vote koribole itu do sob manu babe democratic right ase itu do sob manu laga holebi what I mean to say is election laga campaigning election process khande na itu do should they take part what is your opinion
That's a very good question. As we can see, when it comes to election and the church, what I negative connotation a church leader, a person who works in the church, or the church should be separated from the politics, from the state. But something we have missed out is how church can intervene among the chaos in the society, evils in the society, prayerfully, with prayer, with ethical values of Christian, could be any religion, if I want to generalize. But since we are in a Christian state, let's say a Christian, ethical values, moral values of Christian teachings and all. I think it is necessary for the church also to intervene, not in the decision making, but also to give the right guidance to the people. Could be the candidates, it could be the voters and all. One example is in our areas, it's at a stage where, the churches, the churches come together, the respective church of that constituency organize a common platform for both the candidates, of that constituency to come together and give their public speeches, to give their manifestos, to give their ideas. Party la party public in the presence of the church, because church itself is organizing that. And after that public platform, common platform, at the end, it's the duty, I'd say, of the church workers or full-time workers to pray for them, anoint them, pray for their responsibility as leaders. And we are seeing that now, and you come across many common platforms being held currently, right now, in many areas that is initiated by the church.
Okay. So, apni bra ko munjai thaka do church leaders pra matlab participate election ne participate kinega kurbo lage kole do prayerfully na prayer bra modot kurigina apni itu ko munjai se. Okay, now apni aro ekta hudibole munjai thaka do apni laga as a church leader apni laga perspective ki ase on the present governance na kinega lage, because apni bhi Nagaland laga church leader hole bhi apni bhi Nagaland de thaki ase, you've seen the good and the bad side also na. So apni la your take on the present governance to kinega ase. Aro kwa nishina mon do ijaro we have almost 60 years statehood paigena bhi khotom ho jaishina, to it aro hole bhi development ko we're lacking behind. There's nothing to hide about that. Rasta, everybody has issue with the road thing, connectivity hobi bhal rasta hobi. So apni bhi apni la hisab te being a church leader, what is your opinion on the present government?
As a citizen, I would say that we are far behind. We have many things to catch up to. Not saying that it is totally bad. I'm not saying that it's totally bad. It's so biasing, Why government luli balkan to and it is there. And will be majority side to biar side fali amyam bishi kiki cheese will online to do with development, to do with unemployment, to do with infrastructure and so many things. As a church member, as a person working in the church, I think every citizen is responsible for that. Church di taka manu na participate no na, but as a rightful person, as a citizen, I think mula parpi tangora sa na. So it starts with teaching the right biblical virtues, values to the people, to the church members who live within the church and outside of the church also. And it starts with little things. First thing, it starts from me. Whether I'm being honest in the things that I do, whether I am a visionary or not. It all starts with that.
Okay. Now I'll get back to you again. Kwa nishina Nagaland where medical college ekta bhi nai, engineering college nai, professional course lobo para ekta bhi nai. Aro student kan do any class kunba to class 10 pass hoina bhi they go outside na bahar jai puribole. Aro apni age bhi mention kwa nishina scholarship tak bhi installment hisab pra dias na. So idula pore, why do you think idu an sob to kile hoye se? What is the reason behind all these issues pertaining particularly to the student community na apni la hisab te ki karne iniga hoya se? Dolibi ki nimite?
Hoy du question do hosa ase Nagaland de ekta bhi medical college nai, research college khan bhi ekta bhi nai, and the ones which are kundu khan do banai ase, it's taking eternity. Aro yede moi kohun ja do to ki karne ase gole to it's mostly because of one thing, corruption at the highest level by the highest officials. Our tando poisa thakamon khan ase, they don't care whether we have any medical colleges or not. they have money, they can send their children to other states for the further education. But the ones who suffer, we are the ones who suffers from that. And I want to ask the leaders, why should their failures, why should their corruptions be a burden for us?
Itaro pastor ke ekta hudibole mon jaise. We as Nagas or Nagaland we proclaim ourselves as Nagaland as Christian state. Mondo Nagaland for Christ in a way na bi right now. So do you think, is it so? Apni la perspective de, apni la bhavana de, are we really namesake Christian? He asina na hosa bhabi Christian asina Nagaland state to, because monso bhabi koi na bi right na Nagaland the Christian state ase, Nagaland for Christ koi na ekdam bi right. Only ido hosa de, are we walking the talk? Ido asina nai.
Nagaland for Christ kuli to living our life for Christ. Aro amihan saishi kuli to, if we could see, it would definitely show whether we are true to that or not. The status of the society, social evils, unemployment, corruption, injustice. It also, we may be able to answer ourselves whether the term or the statement Nagaland for Christ is relevant or not in the Naga society today. And that is something that we would like to keep it to yourself or ask ourselves.
Alright, so apni ekta hudibo mon jai thaka do. Election is just around the corner, February 27 de hobole ase. So, student participation, how important is it? Student ekla na any youth in general na election they participate karubole, because it's our democratic right. So, according to you, how important is, a student's participation in election?
Students' participation in election is very crucial, and the youths, they play a significant role in it, because this is the only time when we can choose the right leaders, when we can correct our mistakes we made in our past. So when we choose the right leaders as the youth, we can see a better future. Even some certain things which has been going wrong, it can be corrected right now. And as the youths, we know it ourselves, the condition of our state. So election is the only opportunity, it is the only right, it is the only freedom we have to correct that mistakes. That's it.
Okay. One more question. What do you want from your government now? Do you want a new government, a new governance system they change anibo lage? Idu bhabi asina na ini purana dei thik ase amnila bhabna ki ase?
Purna government, the way it has been going on, that's not the way a government must run. What I expect, what I want in the upcoming leaders, in the upcoming government, is that to settle issues like the road condition. The present government, they have been doing a great job in it, but it should be improved. The road condition is so pathetic. And again, education. As said earlier, education at the grassroots level, the condition is not at its best. Most people, when they hear of government schools or government higher secondary schools, they mostly think about the negative aspects. And of course, that's partly true, because if you go to any rural area, there is hardly any students in a government primary school. And that's because of its bad condition.
And it's not only the students komti thakai kala bin hoy olebi mon bishi bar dekhi thake that itu area te rural area especially itu jaga te itu busti de teacher komti ase na class 10 exam dhali bole board dhali bole ase teacher maths teacher nai koi English teacher nai koi itu be ekta point ase na.
Yes. And as said, election, when we choose the right leaders, we get the good facilities. It's like a vicious circle. Ami khan kita leader ekta wrong choose kurbo, there will be corruption, and when corruption leads to choosing of the wrong candidates for certain specific jobs, and that lead to that issue.
Ita ekta my last question apni ge ekta akhri sawal hodibo mon jai thaka do. Coalition election to ini punchubole ase February 27 de ase, so idu election to kinega hobo nishina ase according to you na, aro idu this year bhi clean election campaign to jai ase jaga jaga de na so itu bar joa bar do successful hua nai to itu bar do kini ka hobo nishina ase
In simple words, we are all praying so manala pratna ase to do better than the previous election. And we do not suppose or we do not hold the view that Nagaland is going to change in a year or two or this election. But we are making awareness and we are making the efforts. There are people praying for it, pratna, and hoping that one or the other day we will see the fruit of it. Changes starting from the young minds. Keep Brana generation, the elderly people or say the older people or the older generations. Ki jawale say let it go. Even if we tell them now about clean election, to the previous year look be same holy ase inya thak koi thake. But at least for the young generation, at least for the young people that are who have just reached 18 years and so on, I think this campaign or this awareness on clean election should start early, so that at least that when they mature and when they think maybe they can come to a conclusion that this is right, and that is when they start influencing their friends also. And that is when they start saying that my right is important, I should be voting for the right person, it's not for sale, because I don't want to be 28 years old, 29 years old, 30 years old and be depressed without a job. Yeah, I would definitely want to have a secure job. Yeah, I would definitely want to have myself skilled in different professions, yeah, or in any profession, yeah, skills, as well as I would definitely want to provide for my family, or I would definitely want to have a family. So why would I risk that for 10,000, 20,000 or the amount of money that we receive during election? I mean, we should be visionaries in short, and that is something that we could see in the next 10 to 15 years, changes in the young minds. That is what we pray for, and that is what we pray for.
Okay. To ita viewers amian huni loise Pastor Lim Wapang Longchar aro a student ekta ahigina thaka a daking pi tai jun la bhabna do janai dise. To ire pastor ba kwado ek rati de nuhili bi ek sal manjo de Nagaland do bodli hoi jabo koigina itu do kurubo na parbo. Hulibi aste aste baby steps loigina jawan youths khan ba ta khala bhabna to change kurigina age jaigina ta khala vote bigri na kurigina ki hosa rasta ase ta dehi birabo lage koigina tai laga bhabna to janai dise aru itu logot tai itu bi koise ki ministers MLAs khan lode modot manga do itu do jani gina itu bia rasta ra hi ase itu poisa to thik nai jani gina bi loa to thik nai aro paratak itu do nokuri gina sapa sapi rasta de hi birawo lage koigina tai la bhabna to janai dise iru logot sangtam bravi tai kuise ki tai do present government pa ki kurigina aise Nagaland de student community nimite education sector de ki kurise tai itu do ekdam pathetic condition de ase kuise unfortunate ase aro tai as a student tai laga opinion tai kiniga Nagaland de ekta student hoigina kiniga duk pai scholarship obi time de na pai aro ekta bhal college bi nai government school la condition khan do rural areas te to bishi bia ase koigina tai laga bhabna janaise aro tai kwado nutun sarkar ahigina idu system khan bodli kurigina age jaile to Nagaland do bishi bhal jaga ekta hobo koigina tai jun naga bhabna do janai dise. To viewers aji laga itu mohan ide open discussion kura election laga opor de hobi education sector hobi politics hobi governance hobi mohan itu olop khota kori lese. To aji nimite igete khotom koribo aro apni gan sob sai thakibi Nagaland TV.